I'm working for an American software company who are expanding into Europe.
I work at Telefonica at the moment on their European graduate scheme.
I deliver boot camps, like exercise boot camps in schools.
Headhunter, recruiter for the International Committee of the Red Cross.
I work as a TV weather presenter for the BBC.
I'm the Double Club Languages Coordinator at Arsenal Football Club.
I'm a police officer, as you can probably see.
I'm a freelance project manager and project consultant.
I'm a financial controller at a private equity fund.
Regional Director of Carfax Private Tutors in St. Petersburg.
I work as a translator for the European Commission.
I work for a translation agency called Translate Media.
I work at the Dutch Embassy in London as political attaché.
Now I'm a project manager for a company called Voice and Script International, and we do language versioning, so dubbing and subtitling for films and corporate videos.
I was headhunted for the graduate scheme because of my languages, so I didn't even have to apply for it.
Every single job I've had has been because I've had languages.
If two candidates have got the same degree, same experience, but one's got a language, it will definitely give them the edge.
And it's always a plus, it's always going to look good on your CV.
It's quite difficult to find a graduate job now, so that kind of is my USP. It kind of stuck me out from the crowd.
When you're on your year abroad, you really have to get stuck in because there's basically nobody else to help you.
You don't know what's going to come out of someone's mouth, so you have to think on your feet, and I think that's useful.
You kind of learn new ways of explaining things to people and putting your point across and having patience as well.
It's not enough to know the language of a country, you have to know how they think, how they behave, and to realise that the way you behave and think is not necessarily the only way to do so.
The best bit for me personally was the satisfaction of arriving in Italy on the first day and having about 10 words of vocabulary and leaving after 8 months and being basically fluent.
Meeting Spanish people, getting to know the Spanish way of life, the Spanish culture.
Probably the best thing was just meeting lots of different people. I joined a handball club, so a sports club, to try and meet some local people.
Probably the command of language that I learned by the time I came back from it. I was so nervous before I went, but I think the confidence that I gained from speaking the language every day, it just improved my French exponentially.
The best thing about learning a language is the opportunities it brings you in terms of travel and work, and also it gives you extra confidence.
For me, it's just a nice way of connecting to people, and I find that particularly with Asian languages, people are just really, really happy that you can speak their language, and it makes them feel quite special.
Coming into contact with different people, communicating with them, making new friends, and travelling. So just the human aspect of it.
You can leave the UK, go travelling, and I wanted to be able to do that comfortably without having to worry about a language barrier.
I was talked into it, and still to this day I couldn't tell you why I took languages, but I'm glad I did.
You know, the world is only getting smaller, everyone needs to be able to talk to each other in different countries.
We can't carry on thinking that we're important and we only need to speak English. I think learning languages is something that everybody should have to do. Maybe in the UK we don't do it as much as in other countries, but it opens up so much to you. Different cultures, different food, different sports, all sorts of things. It's so much fun.
For all of my positions at embassies, I've been able to go back to the headquarters, whether it be in Japan, Belgium, or back in London.
Initially, I worked in Germany for several years, so I travelled around with my job within Germany and also in the surrounding countries.
First of all, massively do it, definitely, because you're never going to lose anything from picking up a language.
If you have a French A-level or a Spanish A-level, and then further down the line you decide you want to do a degree in Arabic, your background in one of those languages will be invaluable.
If you'd have told me before I went on my year abroad that I didn't have to do it, I wouldn't have gone because I was so scared. But being thrown in at the deep end is just the best. And even when you speak English to people day to day, you don't make perfect sentences, you don't do everything right. And I think you learn to forgive yourself a little bit when you do that on your year abroad. When you're thrown in at the deep end, you may make a few mistakes, but you get there in the end.